Helen touched the hearts and minds of everyone who knew her. For more than a half a century, she left an indelible mark on party members from all sections of the International Committee of the Fourth International that she met, as well as the hundreds and thousands of workers and young people who came to know her. Helen was a powerful speaker, always educating and inspiring those who heard her. She was a tireless fighter for the party, while campaigning as the party's candidate for Congress, mayor of Detroit, and for US president. She became well known and admired for her tenacity at the factory gates. She was highly respected, and she influenced all those with whom she had contact and political discussions or discussions of a broader character. Helen also had an enormous impact on the children of party members, as well as the children of party members. Helen's family deeply respected her values in politics. Her son Jamal, her niece Kenyetta's husband Mike, and her dear cousin Lorraine, with whom she took her memorable trip to South Africa in 2019, were all profoundly impacted by Helen, as she was by them. The same is true of Tanya, Marco, and Angel, and many others who are attending today. Helen always took a genuine interest in all those whom she met and worked. Naturally, Helen would stress the great principles of the Trotskyist movement and their relevance to the present, to explain why she had dedicated her entire adult life to the struggle of the liberation of the working class and the oppressed masses from capitalism and for the socialist transformation of society. Helen was the real thing. Falsification, pretentiousness, backwardness, and arrogance were all alien to Helen. She helped form the culture of the party, both its high theoretical and political level, as well as her meticulous attention to organization. Continuity lives through us, through the cadre of the Revolutionary Party. Helen was always conscious of this, and she located herself in the historical character of our epoch, the epoch of the death agony of capitalism. She based herself on the historical significance of the October Revolution and the revolutionary capacities of the American and international working class. This was expressed in the energy and enthusiasm with which Helen dedicated her life to the work of constructing the Revolutionary Party, our international party, which will lead the working class in the taking of power. When Helen joined in 1971, like all of us from our generation, the struggle against the Socialist Workers' Party's reunification with the Pabloites in 1963 was very, very fresh. It was less than 10 years from the time we joined the party. What were the great historical issues that educated Helen and our generation? That the Socialist Workers' Party did not represent Trotskyism. While it claimed to, and while it had a much larger membership than us, only the International Committee defended the principles of Trotskyism, of internationalism against nationalism, the fight for the political independence of the working class, the revolutionary role of the working class, and the necessity of the Revolutionary Party in preparing the working class to assume its decisive role in the socialist transformation of society. At the time that Helen joined, there were, besides the Socialist Workers' Party, there were Maoist organizations, all varieties of middle-class radicals, the Stalinist Communist Party, state capitalist organizations, Black nationalist organizations, and so on. But Helen was steeled in the understanding that what defines the character of a party is not its numbers, not its ties to the so-called movers and shakers, but to the great principles, and that Trotskyism was the only alternative. The fight to demarcate our party from everyone else at the time made Helen, and I think our generation, very fierce fighters. In sharp opposition to all the other political organizations who took neither themselves nor their own organizations or their history too seriously, Helen was guided by the unshakable conviction and optimism that the party she was building would lead the working class in the overthrow of the capitalist system. She took enormous interest in the political education, particularly of the younger generations who joined the party. In addition to politics, Helen would always ask about one's interests in music, literature, art, and encourage them to broaden their cultural horizons. Many of you here today had such discussions with Helen. She would recount the seminal political struggles through which she and our generation didn't just live through, but we were active participants. The struggle against Black nationalism and all forms of nationalism used to divide the working class. The fight against Tim Woolforth's renegacy. The move of the party headquarters from New York to Detroit after the political assassination of Tom Heenan. The split with the Workers' Revolutionary Party, the launching of the World Socialist website are but a few of the many events that shaped Helen. And Helen played a critical role in influencing those events as well. Helen was like a sister to me, and she was also an important part of my family who got to know and love her. Helen and I grew up together in the sense that the seminal political events of our time and the historical and theoretically guided political campaigns of the party in the working class were always aimed at differentiating our party from all those who betrayed the historic interests of the working class. We met in 1971 and developed a close personal bond through our political experiences. We developed as well out of the shared personal tragedies and joys that life brings over a period of 52 years. Like everyone here, I will miss the irreplaceable Helen, but I know that her achievements will live in our fight today under conditions of the emergence of the international working class. Millions are now protesting on every part of the inhabitable globe against imperialist genocide in Gaza and against their own governments who are waging war against the working class, while at the same time they are the accomplices of the Israeli regime. The outpouring of support we have received for Comrade Helen's lifelong struggle testifies to the very changed relationship of the International Committee today to the international working class. The very advanced stage of the political, social, and economic crisis of the world capitalist system positions the ICFI as a powerful pole of attraction in the struggle of the working class to end the source of imperialist genocide and war, inequality, and the aggressive assault on democratic rights. Leon Trotsky wrote, "Son, friend, fighter," after his son, Leon Sedov, was assassinated in 1938 by the Stalinist GPU agent, Mark Zabrovsky. While Trotsky's tribute to his son was written under very, very different conditions, I'd like to take the liberty of paraphrasing Trotsky in my tribute to Helen, my dearest comrade and best friend. For revolutionary youth and workers of all countries, Helen will rightly live in the hearts of all those who work, suffer, and struggle for a better world. Thank you. And before I conclude, I would like to read a letter from Helen's niece to the party. This is from Kenyatta Ferguson McCoy to the Socialist Equality Party. On behalf of the Halyard family, I would like to say thank you. Helen is my loving, sweet aunt, but to all of you, she was a friend and fighter for what she believed in. My aunt's legacy will live on through the party and her family. Jamal, her son, and I are okay, as she would want us to be. Please celebrate my Aunt Helen as she would want all of us to do. As I type this, I am crying because I never thought she would leave us, but once her work was done, that was it. She showed me and Jamal the world. And then Kenyatta closed her letter with an appeal to keep Jamal, Kenyatta, Sheila, and Tim in your thoughts. And once again, thank you for loving my Aunt Helen. Thank you.